everybody, and welcome back to the MXGP of Turkey, the Bitci MXGP of Turkey here at Afyon. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for joining us for our live broadcast of the final round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We started off at the end of February at Matterley Basin in Great Britain, and we round out here in Turkey. And it could not be closer at the top of MX2. Heading into race one earlier, Jago Geerts held a 2-point advantage over Tom Vialle. Tom Vialle is the new leader heading into race two, though, but there is just 1 point separating the Frenchman from the Belgian. Who will be crowned world champion in 2022? We have had a roller coaster of a ride through the 2022 season, especially with those two riders. The championship leaders' red plate has changed hands no fewer than 8 times between those two alone. Who will it be that turns it to gold, though? They are currently out on their sighting lap ahead of MX2 race 2. And in a moment, we will see what happened in race 1. The highlights coming up shortly. But if you're joining us for the first time today, here's a map of the track, just over 1,700 meters long from the finish line there in the dark grey zone. A couple of corners into the race, that is Sector 1. Sector 2 is the next lighter grey zone. And then you see how it tightens up on the infield there, that little right-left kink, that starts Sector 3. We've got a wave section down the back straight. That starts the 4th and final sector. We had a double header here last year. Tom Vialle won both of them. He currently leads the championship by a point, heading into the final race of the season. Take a look at what happened in race 1, shall we? MX2 race 1 a little earlier on in the day. Over on the right-hand side, we had a heavily ripped start straight and watered as well. Caught Jago Geerts out, who had a bit of a bobble through the turn, but it was Vialle over the Fox Holeshot line for the 10th time this season. Behind him, the 74 emerged in second position, Kai de Wolf. Geerts managed to capitalise on a couple of positions as other riders took each other wide. He had a moment there, though, that pushed him back to 5th. He then snatched up the inside of Liam Everts to take 4th, right into the entry of the wave section. He had the Husqvarna ahead of him, of Kai de Wolf, and the Gas of Simon Langenfeld, who got pushed back to 3rd as de Wolf went through in that turn. Geerts then got the better of the German on the 5.16 as he moved up the position into 3rd place. He then capitalised on a slight mistake, but he'd also read the situation well to pass Kai de Wolf to move into 2nd. He then started to close down on Tom Vialle. At that point, Vialle led the championship by 1 point. Rick Elzinga, not so fortunate, having to withdraw. Vialle had this moment, though, that had the heart in the mouth, not just him, but also the team as he led. Roman Mostijk on the 39 got the better of Langenfelder as well to move into 4th. That's where he would stay when the checkered flag fell. As he was closing in on the leader, though, Jago Geerts lost the front end and lost second position to Kai de Wolf. You don't need words to express what both sides of the fence felt there. He did regroup, though, and with about 6 laps to go, found his way back onto the rear wheel of Kai de Wolf and made that pass for 2nd. But it was Tom Vialle who was victorious in race number 2. He went on to take the checkered flag for the 16th time this season and lead going into race 2 by a single point over Geerts. A few moments ago, Lisa Leyland was down on the gate. She caught up with Thibaut Beneston, Monster Energy Yamaha, but before that, the Nastan Husqvarna factory rider, 74, Kai de Wolf.
We are almost ready for the final MX2 race of the year, and all I can say is just 1 point. 1 point separating the leader and second, so who knows what's going to happen. But let's catch up with a couple of the guys, the first being Nastan Husqvarna MX2 factory rider Kai de Wolf. Kai, you were really pushing in that first race. You were solid in qualifying as well. You brought it home in 3rd. You were looking good out there. I guess you just want to finish the season with a podium. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, sure. It would be great to finish the podium season with a podium. And also it helped a lot. I had some really good starts actually all weekend already. So I haven't had many of them this year, but yeah, now I had a good start. So hopefully we can get a good start again in that second moto and just do our thing.
Final race of the year. It has been a long season for everyone. Looking back, how do you reflect on your year?
It hasn't been an easy year for me. Struggled a lot with injuries and stuff, so that's been a difficult year, but I hope I can end it good.
Enjoy the final race, Kai. Thank you. Time now to speak to Monster Energy Yamaha factory MX2 rider Thibaut Benestant. Thibaut, I know you were planning on not coming to the final round. You wanted to have a shoulder injury instead. You are here. Tough first race for you. How difficult was it?
Yeah, normally I should not be here, but yeah, I have to come, so I'm here. I try to give my best. It's just one more, so it's nothing. I'm gonna try to ride with the pain and to just give my best, and we will see what I can do.
But also possibly you could be here to help your teammate out as well. I mean, getting in the mix as well could make a difference.
Yeah, sure, I can be in between the guys, so it can help a bit. I will do my race, and we will see how the race is going.
Best of luck. Thanks, Thibaut. Good luck to all the guys. It's time for the final MX2 race of the year.
Pre-grid interviews done for the final time this season. We are here at the Bitci MXGP of Turkey in Afyon. Here's how the top 5 line up heading into the final race of the year. Tom Vialle now leads Jago Geerts by 1 point, 7:33, 7:32. Langenfelder already guaranteed 3rd. Horgmo is next in 4th, and then Thibaut Benestant is 5th place. But all eyes on the battle for the World Championship between Tom Vialle and Jago Geerts. Here's how the riders line up for the final race of the year based on their qualifying race on Saturday. Tom Vialle lining up on pole ahead of Jago Geerts and Thibaut Benestant, with Kai de Wolf, Roman Mostijk, Liam Everts, Jan Panzer and Andrea Adamo. With Simon Langenfelder, Kevin Horgmo, Kai Karsmakers, Andrea Bonacorsi and Rick Elzinger, with Cornelius Toendal, Stefan Rubini, Jakob Teresak coming in next. Then we have the rest, Harup, Weckman, Viragi, Kaz Volk, Hakan Holmi and Dimitar Groznadov. Tom Vialle takes his position behind the gates as he eyes up a possible World Championship for the 2nd time. 1 point, 1 race, 2 riders. Will it be Tom Vialle or Jago Geerts? One of these riders will be world champion. For Tom Vialle, it'll be for the 2nd time. For Jago Geerts, for the 1st time. 30 minutes plus 2 laps is all that stands in their way. Could Thibaut Benestant have a bearing on the final outcome? Of course, it all comes down to the start. Who gets the best start? And that, we mean a Fox Holeshot. Everybody on tenterhooks this weekend. Kai de Wolf sounding quite relaxed a moment ago when we spoke to him. Heading into this final race, looking focused as well is the young Dutchman. Simon Langenfelder had a good start in the 1st race, but just lost the toe a little bit. He was there in 2nd, 3rd place, then she came home in 5th. Kevin Horgmo eyeing up 4th place in the championship. The F&H Kawasaki rider. A quiet race for him in race 1, coming home in 9th position. Everybody in position. Green flag at the back. Our FIM race director, Mr. Ingo Parch, down there towards the 1st turn. This time, the 2 championship rivals start side by side in the start gates. The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the final time in 2022. Jago Geerts just shaking his head there, psyching himself up. Heads down, revs up. Final gate drop of the season. Good reaction from Vialle as well. And Geerts, they lean on each other. And Geerts closes down the door on the Frenchman as they go through the 1st turn. He's got Benestant in there as well. And it's a Fox Holeshot for Jago Geerts. For the 6th time this year, Benestant right there in 2nd. De Wolf 3rd, Vialle 4th. Oh, almost out the front door though for the Dutchman. Vialle looking to get into 2nd position early on. He's into 3rd and into 2nd. as we head down the back straight for the first time. This is a direct shootout between the first two in the championship. It is simple from here on out. If Jago Geerts wins, he is world champion. If Vialle wins the race, he is world champion. It does not get any closer than that. And they are right where we want them to be, right here at the front at the start of race 2. The nerves are going to be pumping, the heartbeats are going to be pumping. Can't afford to leave the door open. Vialle will sniff an opportunity, and he will strike at the very first opportunity. Oh, and he's off the track. Off the track. Made a mistake. Ran along the wave section. Joined on, as soon as he could. Didn't lose or gain a position, so not sure. It'll be under investigation, but we're working our way towards the end of the first lap here. It's the Monster Energy Yamaha from the Red Bull KTM. Both riders need to be on the top of their game in this second race. In race 1, Tom Vialle was the chaser at the top of the championship table. He overhauled a 2-point deficit to lead going into this final race by a point. And he leads, and he's going to run Jago Geerts wide with that pass, and he closes down the door immediately. We've got a new leader on lap 2. I told you, Vialle, if there's an opportunity, he will take it, and he's done that, just that with both hands. Watch this, he goes around the outside here. He jumped long, had no intention of keeping it tight. Why would you? Gloves are off. And he's already starting to pull clear. Meanwhile, third place, Thibaut Beniston, Kai de Wolf fourth, Van der Moosdijk fifth, Andrea Adamo in sixth place. Then we've got Everts, Langenfelder, Karsmakers, and Horgmo. He got the good start, he got the perfect start, did Jago Geerts. But Vialle has roughed him up, and he's just making a mistake there coming out of that turn, costing himself more time. He has to now dig deep and run the risk of making more mistakes, but he has nothing to lose now. He has to go for broke if he is to overhaul Vialle and win the title for the first time. He can't afford to sit there and be conservative. There are no more races, no more laps after this one. This is the final race of the season. Tom Vialle getting his head down. We'll get a lap time at the end of this lap. Liam Everts making a mistake. So Everts then back in 19th place. As Vialle hits the line with the fastest lap of the race, a 52.06 compared to the 154.3 of Jago Geerts. Those two already 1.5 seconds apart as we head into lap 3. Everybody getting behind the battle between these two, Vialle and Geerts. De Wolf around the outside of Beniston, taking over third place away from the Frenchman. This will be 3-3 for Kai de Wolf. If he stays there, he'll round out the season on the podium, third overall. Double, single, single, double into that turn. Either way, all about the same. Keeping an eye on the split so between the top two riders as we focus on this battle here between De Wolf and Beniston. Geerts had the advantage at Sector 1, 25.8 compared to a 26.00. Vialle fastest in Sector 2, 30.5 by a tenth of a second, but Geerts all of a sudden has whittled down the gap, and there's a mistake there from Vialle. You do not want to take your eyes off this one. Right back into contention. 26.7 at the third split and 27.1. All of a sudden, Geerts has found something from somewhere. He is all over the back of the Frenchman and applying the pressure to the Red Bull KTM man. Stays like this, Vialle is world champion. Geerts makes the pass. He will be world champion. We still have 24.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this final race of the year in MX2. The gap less than a second as they hit the line. Geerts picks his line. Is he in the driving seat in terms of where he needs to be at this moment in time, applying the pressure, hoping for a mistake? Or has he bitten off more than he can chew? He's had his opportunity at the head of the field. Vialle took it right from him. Vialle meaning business this weekend. Nice low line there if you can get to it over on the left-hand side. The 93 hitting it perfectly. Seems to be quicker in the mid part of the lap. From around about now, sectors 2 and 3, does the Belgian. These two already 6 seconds clear of De Wolf, but De Wolf just sitting there saying, you know what, you guys, you go for broke, you do what you got to do. I'm happy to sit here, take the podium at the final round. Again, good drive through the waves from Jago Geerts and closes down the door once again. The best 2 riders in the world in MX2 right now, going absolutely hell for leather and going for broke. Vialle knows that Geerts is there. He cuts to move to the outside. Can he get the distance over the double here, though? Yes, he does. Both riders do. Four laps complete. Geerts, the fastest lap of the race, a 50.9. Takes another 3/10 out of Geerts, out of Vialle. 6/10 in it as they hit the line, but he struggles through this first turn. Jago Geerts just setting the fastest lap of the race, a 150.9 compared to a 51.2. There was 6/10 in it as they hit the line just a moment ago at the end of lap 4. We're on lap 5. Once again, though, Tom Vialle making a break for it in sector 1. But sectors 2 and 3 is where the Belgian, Jago Geerts, seems to find a little bit. And it's down the back section through the waves where the Belgian seems to be quicker than the Frenchman. Neither of these two, though, can afford a mistake. It is qualifying lap after qualifying lap for these two. Absolutely on the edge. No other way for these two to attack this race. 110% all the way. And well, I don't want to say a mistake will decide it, but these two are going to be pushing each other all the way to the checkered flag. Neither of them can afford to be conservative. Down the inside, he closes down the door. He tried to hit the brakes, but Vialle still managed to squeeze on through. Aggressive riding that from Jago Geerts. Don't see it too often. Will there be a move to the inside here? He tried to go outside last time. He cuts back. Can't get on the line that he wants, though. Talk about on the edge of your seat stuff between these two. Fastest lap last time around. Will it be another fastest lap for one of these two? Not quite this time around. The pace dropping to the 51s that time around. Keep focus and breathe. That is a message for Vialle. Meanwhile, De Wolf has dropped from 3rd place. Benniston, Van der Moosdijk have overhauled. It's either a mistake for De Wolf, though, because he's lost 2 positions. That's going to drop him off the podium as well. It's going to be his teammate, Van der Moosdijk, that will take the 3rd step if things stay as they are. Tied on points with Kai De Wolf. Vialle, the upper hand in sector 1, 25.6 compared to the 26.2. But again, we're coming back into Geerts territory. Don't want to be hitting that step too often in the race, though. That almost caught out Vialle in race 1. They, like us, cannot take their eyes off the action on the track between these two, Tom Vialle and Jago Geerts. not able to get in there close enough this time around, but he will get good drive through the waves as he has done. Doesn't use it, well, he'll obviously close down a little bit, but not close enough to execute a move. We're running at 800 meters altitude here as well, so the air a little bit thinner, bike's working a little bit harder, riders too. So the effort that these guys are putting in, magnified ever so slightly compared to when they're a little bit more lower at sea level. Good recovery, second half of that though, for the 93. Pulls 4/10 in the final sector. Again, still less than a second in it as they hit the line. I don't think we need pit boards. The riders know exactly what they need to do. Beat the other one to be world champion. Geerts sets his best Sector 1 time, but it was still 3 or 4 tenths down on Tom Vialle that time around. But different line there for him this time around, for the Belgian. A mistake for Vialle. That'll allow Jago Geerts to get right back onto the rear wheel of him. Not clean out of there either. Geerts tries his luck down the inside, and he does. He would have been better off just to stop the race right there. Just park him. But chose not to. Chose to swing around the outside. Anybody else would have just hit the brakes, parked it, say, right, you go and I'll go with you. Looking for something here. Ah, the mistake! Ah, they're both down! They're both down! The same corner where Geerts fell. Is that the deciding factor? Geerts will take a moment to have a rebreathe. But talk about, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use the word drama. That right there could have determined the outcome of the championship. Vialle pushing too hard, he lost the front. Geerts had nowhere to go, ran into his bike, he too crashed. And we're 7 laps into the race. All of a sudden there's a 5-second gap there. And that might be it. Breathe, regroup. That will be the same for both riders. He will be able to breathe. The waves is the area where he's quickest. But look at that, he's going to be under pressure from, well, he won't be under pressure from his teammate, Beniston, who's 5 seconds further back. Watch this, a lap ago. Lost the front, couldn't avoid him. Just caught the turns, front wheel. Went over the bars. Vialle quick to get up, and Geerts not so. Love to see the reaction here. Can't believe it. They cannot believe it. Even next door at Dixon Racing. Everybody absolutely glued to the monitors down there in pit lane. Sector 1 matching each other again, but another couple tenths pulled back by Geerts. But the gap, 4.8 seconds. We are still just under 16 minutes left to run in this second MX2 race, the final race of the season. He knows he can't afford to relax as well, though, so he's going to have to keep the tempo high. Not clean through there that time, and not clean over the little double jump for the Frenchman. But there is still a lot of laps left to run in this final race of the year. There was a back marker there on that double. I'm not sure if Geerts was able to get over it. We'll soon find out when we hit the finish line for the Sector 4 readings. 28.5 for Vialle. 28.1, the fastest of the race. And all of a sudden, yeah, the gap is 5.08 seconds. But a good response. So Vialle getting his head down, putting that mistake out the back of his mind already. But you've got lost the front there over the crest. when you've got ruts that are deep and nadry like they are on this racetrack here in Affion. Ooh, he was a little bit shy off the side of the track there as well. But he's good through here. Gap going out to 5.6 seconds now. 25.7, 26.2 respectively. Sector 2 coming up for Vialle. 30.5 for him. That's only a tenth off the fastest split through there. 35 as well for Geerts. Sector 3 at the end of the wave section, remember. At the moment, Vialle possibly looking the more relaxed of the two, if there is such a word to use. 27.06 and a 26.6, so the gap 5.2 seconds now. When you're running a 30-minute plus 2-lap race and you don't want it to end, Jago Geerts, that must be going through his head at the moment. And theirs, not theirs. Nine laps complete. Vialle 151.9, a 51.1 for Geerts. The gap now 4.3 seconds as he regroups and looks to go back after the Red Bull KTM man with the fastest final sector. 2 laps running now for Geerts. And Van der Moosdijk up to third. He's moved past Thibaut Beniston whilst we're keeping an eye on this championship battle at the head of the field. De Wolf only about 8 tenths behind the Frenchman Beniston as well, as he looks to, well, there you go. These two fighting at each other. Van der Moosdijk going through, and Beniston just trying to repay the pass. Kai de Wolf just behind them. Not a million miles away either. But this will be a podium at the final round for Rowan van der Moosdijk, depending on what kind of mood his teammate's in. Look, who's just closing in the background. So 12 minutes plus 2 laps to go. This is the battle for third position in the race. Rowan van der Moosdijk, Thibaut Beniston, wave yellows. Who's that? We'll soon find out when we see our sector 3 times. There was another mistake for Geerts. There he is, just ahead. The race starting to fall apart for the 93. I wanted to say I heard the tone of the Yamaha engine just pulling away after those yellow flags. I didn't want to say it. But a 26.8 in sector 3 for Vialle, a 34.5 for Geerts. Vialle has one hand on the trophy, surely. The gap now 12 seconds between first and second in the race. Thibaut Beniston, the Yamaha, between the two Nissan Husqvarnas. And 11 minutes to go, 12 seconds to make up. That's a second a lap if it was a 12-lap race, but it's not. He has to pick his head up now, because you'll see Vialle in the opposite direction. There he is on the opposite jump. That's the difference between first and second. And barring any mistakes now, the number 28, Tom Vialle, is almost home and dry here. Who dare pull the championship T-shirts out of the bag first, though? And this is, oh, just bottom corner. You'll see him picking himself up in a moment. Look, there's the flags. So just got it wrong somewhere, maybe on the inside. That's all we have of it. He's now going to be under pressure from Rowan van der Moosdijk. That's the least of his concerns. Whether he finishes second, third, fourth or fifth, championship is done with 10 minutes plus 2 laps to go at the moment. A mountain to climb now, the gap getting bigger, 13 seconds the gap Vialle has over the Belgian. First crash, no fault of his own. Vialle tipped over, he went into the bike, couldn't avoid it. Could have been looking at a different scenario for both the two riders at the top of the championship. This turn here has played a crucial role this weekend in both races for this rider right here. He fell there whilst closing in on Vialle in race 1. Fell when Vialle fell in front of him in this race. Michele Levetti, can't believe it. The team manager there for Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2 can only look on and hope they get a little bit of luck late on in the race. Pulled a couple of tenths back that time around, but with 9 minutes plus 2 to go, it's still 12.1. Meanwhile, further down the order, Liam Everts up to 14th. He's eased past Mikkel Hara. Other than that, no changes out on track. Van der Moosdijk still 3rd, Beneston 4th, De Wolf 5th, Langenfelder 6th, Adamo 7th, Panzer 8, Carsmakers 9, and Rubini is in 10th place. Once Vialle found his way by at the start of the race, he had to go for broke. Jago Geerts, that's what he did. Made a couple of mistakes. Vialle gapped him, pulled it back when Vialle started to make mistakes all by himself. But you could not have foreseen both riders going down in the same turn, in the same crash. And there's Vialle through the waves in the opposite direction. Tom Vialle, the Red Bull KTM rider who was world champion in 2020 with 7 Grand Prix victories. He comes into the final round here this year, having won 9 rounds, 9 Grand Prix, and he started the weekend 2 points down. He came away from race 1 a point up, and he's going to take another 3 points. Well, that doesn't matter. He stays where he is. He's world champion for a second time. Take a look at the story of the race to this moment, shall we? This was Vialle getting offline through the waves early on, joined a couple waves later, didn't lose or gain any positions, but towards the start of the second lap, Geerts thought he got it covered. Vialle just launched the attack down the inside. Caught Geerts snapping. Then he made a mistake. And then here, he should have just hit the brakes and parked it. But he didn't, and there was another opportunity like that. Just here, again, because you expect the cutback at that point. But that was Vialle going back into the lead. He then lost the front, and watch this. How unlucky is that? Vialle's was a tip over. He still had control of the handlebars. And then he just, watch there in the right corner, goes, he must have just turned out and gone over the bridge, over the ridge there, because he was already on that left side of the track as he got going, yeah. And that gap now, 11 seconds. Vialle not exactly in cruise mode, but he doesn't have to push to the same level of intensity that he was. Still, Dirk Grubel, though, not taking any chances, not leaving anything to chance. It is not over until it's over, until that final checkered flag. Five and a half minutes plus 2 to go, or thereabouts. 1:54.7 that time around. Is he starting to think about that championship now? The gap down to 9.8 seconds. He can turn it back up if he wants to. You can't knock the effort of this kid, but losing 24 points in 3 races since race 2, Finland, when he went over the bars, got pinned under the bike, had another altercation with Mikkel Hart where he only finished 7th. 2 poor results by his standard in France, a Grand Prix that Vialle went on to win as well. All of a sudden, under pressure, coming into the final round with a 2-point margin. Could have been so much more than that. But we're still just around 5 minutes plus 2 to go. Geerts just hoping that he gets another opportunity late on in the race, but normally Tom Vialle does not make a mistake. The 28 in pole position at the moment, 9.5 seconds clear of the Belgian. Hara, trackside, out of the race. So not sure if that was a technical issue or a fall, but didn't look to be too injured. Far too many of those this year has the Dane. But 14 laps in the books for Vialle. Back into the 53s. Knows he can't afford to switch off. 52 though for Jago Geerts, but again 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps. That gap 8 seconds now. What was the gap? It was about 4 seconds, wasn't it, when he crashed the second time? But it is a tricky racetrack, deep ruts. There's Vialle in the opposite direction. Three minutes to go. Right, Vialle on the opposite jump there, coming into land. 7.4. You see the next split now, 7.1. So he's chipping away. But Geerts the one having to push hard, because if he doesn't change anything. If he gets an opportunity, he needs to take it. Back markers for Vialle through the wave section. What's his third sector time? 27.1. Fastest through there is 25.8. We've just gone through the third sector. 27.1 for Vialle, 26.1 for Geerts. The gap now 6.1 seconds. We still have 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. The lap time 1:53 last time around, so it's going to be 3 laps from here because of the time on the clock, as you can see. Vialle, 15 laps in the books. A 1:55.2. Jago Geerts getting closer, 4.8 again, so he can't afford to switch off, Tom Vialle. Is he just starting to feel the pressure a little bit here? Because the gap now between first and second, just by the FMF banners on the jump now and just going out of sight, that's the difference between first and second. Rider number 1 and rider number 4 in that shot. Sector 1, 25.7, 25.6, another 10th pull back by Geerts. Sector 2 will be through the little S-bends where he made his mistake earlier on in the race. Back markers need to pay attention to the blue flags, of course they do. That one, just taking a look over the shoulder there. Emil Weckman stays out of the line. 30.9 at sector 2 for Vialle, a 30.2. Fastest of the race for Geerts. The gap now 4.2 seconds. Is there going to be some more last-minute upsets here in this final race of the year? There's Vialle ahead of Geerts. Does he look across? He doesn't. Yes, he does now as he struggles through that left-hander. Sector 3, 26.7. And for Geerts, 27.0 loses 3/10 immediately. So the gap back out to 4.5 seconds. You sense that Vialle has this one under control. The 2-lap board getting readied. Are they going to feel like the longest 2 laps of his life, though? He has been in this position before, riding for a world championship, but he clinched it with a round or 2 to go back in 2020. The penultimate lap. Throws in his fastest in sector 4, and Geerts losing a massive amount of time in the final sector. 27.9 to a 29.2. All of a sudden, Geerts goes into the final 2 laps, 5.7 seconds down on Tom Vialle. Again, was he just pushing too hard? Could see Vialle was coming back towards him. Maybe we have it. Watch this here. Oh, it comes up short. Wow, that would have cost him time, yes. Langenfelder up to 5th, De Wolf down to 6th. There's going to be no podium joy for Kai De Wolf. It'll be his teammate, Rowan van der Moostijk, who stands on the podium for the first time this year. And for Rowan van der Moostijk, who got injured in the qualifying race in Argentina, round 3, we never saw him again till Belgium 5 rounds ago. He's been 5th, 8th, 4th since then. 4th was in Finland. Came so close to a podium that day. But a lap and a half to go. 6.2 seconds between first and second in the race. And in the championship chase as well. Because Tom Vialle is just over a lap away from a second world title in MX2 before heading stateside next year. But never been in a position where he's had to fight right the way down to the wire like this. I think that just shows his mental toughness as well. Into the final lap for Tom Vialle. Just 1 minute, 52 seconds separate him from a second world title. No time to celebrate down there. They're giving him the fist pumps. But the gap, yeah, quick look across. Did he get a glimpse of the blue of Geerts? 5.4 seconds adrift. Still needs to maintain his focus. Fans on the bank cheering his every move, his every lap. See the gap between first and second. This bottom turn here and the jump in the background. But another quick look across to see where Jago Geerts is and Tom Vialle. Now, just thinking about the reality. Hasn't been without its problems in this race. He ran off through the waves on the opening lap. Made his mistake in this next right-hander that took down him and Geerts. But what a finale we had here at Affion. 2 corners to go. Tom Vialle starts to celebrate, pats the front number plate on the front of his Red Bull KTM, and Tom Vialle will win race 2, his 17th race win of the season, his 10th Grand Prix victory, and with it, the World Championship in 2022. He is a 2-time World Champion. Let the celebrations begin down there at Red Bull KTM. What a race, what a season, what a rider, Tom Vialle. Commiserations for Jago Geerts and Monster Energy Yamaha. He can't shake it, he's shaking his head there, he can't believe it. But all kinds of things happening in that race. Tom Vialle, a 2-time FIM MX2 Motocross World Champion. It's great to win the first one, but to win this one, coming from behind like he did the last few rounds. Mum and Dad there. Hugs for them. And that could not have played out any more. I don't know. Just one of those days, one of those weekends, one of those seasons for Tom Vialle. Tom Vialle then finishes the season as a 2-time world champion. Big hug there from his mechanic. A little bit rowdy down there. We will try and get a camera in there soon with Lisa. But 17 race wins this season. 10 GP wins.
I've got him.
Here he is. Go, Lisa.
Yes, Tom Vialle, you are a world champion for the second time.
It was an incredible race. It was so hard. I think it's the toughest for my career since now. I crashed and Jago crashed again, and oh my God, it was so good. I'm so happy. Thanks to the team. Two-time world champion.
You did it.
Congratulations, Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, a two-time FIM MX2 Motocross World Champion. 5 races ago, he was 26 points down. He came into the final race here, 1 point clear. He's won 9 Grand Prix, 17 race wins, what, 10 Grand Prix victories he's won this year, but 17 race wins. Tom Vialle, a two-time world champion. And he celebrates down there with the team. Don't worry, there's plenty more where that came from. One careful owner and all that. Give you the official confirmation of that second MX2 race, shall we? And it was a win for Tom Vialle. And with it, he takes the World Championship. Jago Geerts, 2-2 for him, second overall, but second in the race. Roman Mostijk, Thibaut Beniston, Simon Langenfelder, Kai de Wolf, Andrea Darmo and Jan Panzer, with Kevin Horgmo and Stefan Rubini rounding out the top 10. Then we had Kai Karsmakers, Liam Everts, Cornelius Tondel, Jakob Terazak, Scotty Viragi, Kaz Volk, Emil Weckman, Andrea Bonacorsi, and then we had Halmi and didn't quite get the other guy's name there, Grozdanov. Tom Vialle wins an absolutely epic finale here at the Bitci MXGP of Turkey. 2 wins out of 2. Both he and Jago Geerts put in absolutely everything on the line. But it's Vialle who wins the overall and the World Championship. Tom Vialle is world champion in MX2 in 2022. 4 points the difference between him and Jago Geerts after 36 races, 18 rounds, and it all came down to the final round. The Frenchman trailed by 2 points coming in this weekend. He leaves 4 points clear. He will head to America as a two-time world champion in 2023. Langenfelder wraps up the championship in 3rd. That was already done a long time ago, though. How does the manufacturer's table look? Some consolation for Yamaha. They win the the manufacturer's chase. But the World Championship and possibly the team award goes to Red Bull KTM and Tom Vialle. Wow. Take a look at the Fox Holeshot before we go anywhere, shall we? Six black plates. He would trade all of them for the World Championship. Jago Geerts disappointed and dejected, as you would imagine. So near yet so far for the Belgian. But Tom Vialle gets his reward for winning 10 Fox Holeshots for the Red Bull KTM man this year. Two more race wins for Tom Vialle take his MX2 tally to 44 in his MX2 career. 46 podiums, 24 as a winner. This one possibly the most memorable, as it comes with an MX2 World Championship attached. Bit quiet down there at the podium right now, but there'll be some noise in a few moments' time. Monster Energy girls are in place, just waiting for the riders to come through. But in terms of scripting this, you couldn't have scripted it any differently. Not sure what the hold-up is down there, but hopefully we have everybody present for this. But an epic weekend here in Turkey for the final round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the Bitci MXGP of Turkey here in Afyon. The MX2 title chase going right the way down to the wire. Right, third overall then, Nastan, Husqvarna Factory Racing. Rowan van der Moosdijk, a big yes from him as he makes his way to the third step of the podium, rounding out perfectly for him as he prepares for 2023. Jago Geerts, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2 reluctantly stands on the second step of the podium. But a two-time world champion, Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Fantastic weekend here for him, did exactly what he had to do. Knew he had to go for broke, that's exactly what he did. 2 wins out of 2, you can't do much more than that. And Tom Vialle and France and Red Bull KTM on the top step for the second time in 3 years. No stranger to World Championships. Joel Smets there, a 5-time World Champion during his career, and you can see the relief on his face as well. But the Deputy Mayor of Afyon, Karahisar here, Afyon, handing the third place trophy to the Nastan Husqvarna rider, Rowan van der Moosdijk, his first podium of the season. Fourth and a third for the Dutchman here today. Second place overall for Jago Geerts. 2 second place finishes for him, the Deputy Mayor of Afyon. Jago Geerts, another silver medal for the Belgian rider. But to the overall winner, Tom Vialle. Not only the Grand Prix winner here, but he'll get a gold plate as well. Mr. Jorge Villegas, the FIM president, handing him the winner, congratulating everybody on the podium, as you would expect. But Tom Vialle, possibly his biggest win in his career because of the magnitude and the fact that the title was on the line. Could not afford to finish second here this weekend or anything like that. Bekir Yunus Ucha, the TMF president, hands the team trophy to Joel Smets, team manager for Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Normally it would be the red plate. In the last few rounds it's been handed to Jago Geerts on the Monster Energy Yamaha, but this being the final round, it's a gold plate and it belongs to Tom Vialle, the 2022 FIM MX2 Motocross World Champion. Jago Geerts can't even glance across, and you can't blame him. National anthem of France for Tom Vialle. Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, stands on the top step of the podium here at the Bitci MXGP of Turkey, and he does so in fine form as well because he's just clinched the World Championship for the second time in MX2. Second overall, Jago Geerts. Third overall, Rowan van der Moosdijk. And Tom Vialle, a 2-time World Champion now, picking up 10 Grand Prix victories along the way. It's only off the podium 3 times. but 17 race wins and an emphatic double race win here at the final round to ensure that second world title. He started the weekend 2 points behind. He leaves here as the world champion. Just have the final classification then. Third overall, Red Bull Gas Factory Racing, Simon Langenfelder. Second overall, Jago Geerts, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2. And we wait for Tom Vialle to emerge. Medal ceremonies up next. So the two-part podium then, we just saw a moment ago the podium for the overall Grand Prix. This one, though, is for the overall in the championship. Mr. Antonio Elia Portela handing the third place medal, the bronze medal, to Simon Langenfelder, Red Bull Gas Factory Racing. Heartbreak and despair for Jago Geerts. Silver medal once again for the Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MX2 rider. So near yet so far for the Belgian. Mr. Jorge Villegas, the FIM president, hands the gold medal to Tom Vialle, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, a two-time world champion now. And doing it the hard way, doing it from behind the last few rounds. David Longo in front, Motor Racing CEO, Mr. Antonio Elia Portela and Jorge Villegas over there on the right-hand side. The group photo, first of all. We'll finish the podium ceremony with Tom Vialle and the dignitaries. Hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to them before we head into MXGP Race 2. But there is Tom Vialle, the 2022 FIM Motocross World Champion in the MX2 category. Congratulations, Tom Vialle and Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. MX2 Race 2 went a little like this. Jago Geerts got the jump, squeezed Vialle to the inside as he grabbed the Fox Holeshot in the final race of the season. His teammate Thibaut Beneston was right there behind him. Kai de Wolf emerged in third place. Vialle was already fourth, but making inroads third by the next turn. With that move on de Wolf, and then quickly past Beneston to take over second. And from there, it was a direct shootout between the top two in the championship. If it stayed like this, Jago Geerts would be world champion. A mistake on the opening lap, though, as Vialle off track. At the start of the next lap, though, he forced his way down the inside to take over the lead. Beneston had to yield that third place to Kai de Wolf. And then a couple of opportunities to make a pass stick. Didn't quite come off for Jago Geerts. Another opportunity here to get down the inside. Vialle reading both like a book. And then he fell. Geerts into the back of him. He came off worse.